I want to start by thanking Shirkat Ka and Asar because I have been out of the process. मैं काफी सालों से मेरे कोई ज़ाती बड़े मसले थे, so I'm still out of it, but I keep hopping back and forth. But I'm really happy to be here, and I'm so glad I made that extra effort. I won't take up your time, but I think it's important that I start a little by introducing myself to some of the people who don't know me. I was basically a political activist. It started with the military coup in '77 because we were all in college abroad before that. And I suppose we were all very idealistic too. So while we were doing that, फिर वो शहीद जुल्फ़िकार भुट्टो का इंस्टीट्यूट का चक्कर हुआ, तो we initiated that also. We was very keen that women के कोई training courses हम करें while we were in opposition. So we were doing programs there when the government came into power, and I was like 7 months late in the ministry. 7 महीने हो गए थे. तो तब उन्होंने मुझे कहा तुम आ जाओ, तो मैंने कहा I've never been in the bureaucracy. I thought it was the pits. तो मैंने कहा there's no way I'm coming there. मुझे क्या पता bureaucracy का whatever. Anyway, she was very very insistent. She said तुम लोग कहते हो कि अच्छे लोग नहीं हैं और फिर अच्छे लोग आके struggle नहीं करना चाहते, which basically is what our whole working system is about. So well, I did come, and it was a horrendous experience, but looking back, it was also a very good experience because you learn a lot. Working of government is very, very different from civil society or NGOs, because you can make your own little niche in the NGO sector. Drama ki ban gayi, women law ki ban gayi. And if you are not like-minded, you can have it. But government is very different, because you have to consider a lot of things there. International commitments होंगी, national होंगी, party की होती हैं, and also ministries की होती हैं, and then on top of that bureaucrats की होती हैं, and then there are all these ego problems people have, which I feel they also have in the NGO sector. I'm sorry to say, I've come across a lot of women with ego problems. So all this was there, and believe me, when I came, I was just going through the briefings, and I wanted of the different little जो बने हुए थे policy making decisions वाली wing or ये wing or ये. It was pathetic. It was really pathetic, and it was a real challenge. And I have to say one thing, that nobody is superhuman. When you start thinking whether you're a man or a woman, and you start thinking that you are, and you can do it all on your own, and I've seen people trying to do that, in the end they fall flat. So when I saw the kind of work that had to be done, because when I came, the population ki ho rahi thi Cairo mein, and I missed it by I think a day or two, and I wasn't that keen to go. I said I would first soak myself in the ministry, because I had to look to the administration also. And the officers, I think 8 to hoenge, some were genuine rogues, which, a lot of them have maybe, some have gone. I don't know what's happening now. I know the one and only has left, or whatever, and it's become more of a loner sitting there in the ministry and things like that. But basically, you had to find a team inside, and if you are a sensible person and you don't have a full team inside, then you have to look outside. And the BJ process was going hand in hand with everything else which I was supposed to do. So I was very fortunate. पहले तो ये हुआ कि no UN agency was willing to fund us. And 15 साल से, like I was telling Harvard, the forums, I had few forums because I was mostly on the political side. There was a lot of hue and cry कि जी आप CDAW sign कर, बस CDAW sign कर. Wherever I go, CDAW का. So I know we talk about the conferences and the seminars कि हम बैठ के बात करते हैं और कुछ निकलता नहीं. Those who don't want to take out anything out of conferences and seminars and meetings, ठीक है, उनके लिए तो it's nothing. Those who want to bunk and go off इधर उधर वगैरह. But those who want to genuinely work and get results, believe me, you can get a lot out of it, because they are a kind of a pressure point for the government at least, and I think for the NGOs too. And when I looked out, I was so happy, because पहले तो हमने अपनी तरफ से we just tried to create awareness. It wasn't anything technical, to be very honest, and I must say I had a lot of help from the Chief Minister wives in Balochistan and Sarad, and then I had tremendous amount of help from the NGO sector, especially the core group of NGOs ki thi. They were just marvelous. And once UNICEF came on board in February, because I think then they realized that we are serious about doing something, then the biggest blessing from heaven was for me was Shagufta Alizai. I mean, this is not a mutual admiration society or anything, but I think facts have to be spoken. Everybody gave their input, but she really stirred the course, you know, because I'm not basically a technical person, you know, so हम technical person तो है नहीं, हाँ. I mean, I met a lot of brilliant, competent women, which I've never met in my life. So I think, in a way, Benazir did me a great favor, and I miss her very much. I'll tell you very honestly. And so, you know, I must say that another very big problem for me was that I came on the 4th of July, and without letting me know, Chandni Joshi of UNICEF came, met me, and everything honky-dory. I thought I'd get some funds and ye, wo, vagera. Because I was looking for people to help. And that was terrible. And when I confronted her, and even the Prime Minister, I told her, please say something. And Shanaz also said, who was SAPM then and is SAPM now. We begged them and all, but in the end it turned out to be a very personal thing. And I told her, excuse me, people can move, departments can't move. You know, it's like Kofi Annan saying, "Main Ghana move kar raha hu." You can't do that, you know. But anyway, she was hell-bent, "Nahin, now we don't have anything in Iran and we don't have anything in Afghanistan." I said, Delhi's only 1 hour away. It didn't seem to convince her. So I was really left in the lurch. So हमारे कुछ account थोड़े से पड़े हुए थे in the, what do you call, in the conferences का उसमें, so I started with that. And then, like I said, we went on to the more technical stuff. We went to the CSW in March, and over there we realized that I took Hilda was my first non-governmental person who went with me. It was very small, it was just me, her, and one very trying officer. But anyway, he was a very hard-working man, but a real Masi Musibata. And I used to call him that. And whatever. But we went there, and over there I realized when we were discussing the different areas of concern, जैसे खावर ने कहा 12 थे, तो हमें girl child का नहीं नजर आया. And we thought that it was very important that we lobby for the girl child as a separate chapter or, you know, area of concern. And mashallah, we managed to bring it on board. And so the world sort of adopted this thing. Achha, when we came back in March, we had a very big seminar and workshop or whatever. And then by then, Shagufta also came on board. And she really guided us a lot. And I think basically what you have to realize is that government can make policies, but the implementation machinery is totally lacking. I found that I was the Ministry of Women Development was the only ministry, and I had youth also, which didn't have line departments in the provinces. And you can't work like that. I didn't even know where to go and sit or who to talk to. What they had was, and youth ko to unhone Punjab mein wildlife and forests or pata nahi animals or kiske saath dala hua tha, and you know, and it was really strange, I thought. And so women ka, I had to start fighting for the women development departments, because I said that was very, which thank God are still going. I don't know how far they've been strengthened. But you see, whatever we initiated, pre-Beijing and post-Beijing, by the time we left, 3 years is nothing. I wish we had 10 like martial law does, but we didn't. वो सारे different stages of development में थे. So I don't know which ways. That's why I enjoyed your overview. But government ka, I don't know really what happened so much. I got very involved in other things. or whatever. But there were some pre-Beijing conferences. Commonwealth ki thi in Malta, and there was one of the SARC in Dhaka, pre-Beijing. And there was an OIC one. And I just felt that we couldn't do that kind of government, couldn't do that kind of networking from these forums at Beijing itself. So I was, because we were trying to work hard, and also I felt the OIC was taking advantage of us. When unpopular decisions which they didn't dare make, they would come and say, Pakistan. I said, look, you're the chair. I'm not going to get involved in something if you're the chair. So these things have to be considered also. But like I said, hamara jo non-government, or I think Muslim women parliamentarians from Muslim countries ka bhi hua, which went off very well, or whatever. And then we had some other things also. Let me see. Now I have to go back and forth because my train of thought, I've just jotted down some things. And we also did awareness through puppet shows. I don't think anybody really knows about it. I had asked Usman P. Zada as puppet this thing, and we divided it, and I said, okay, women concept lao in a story, because he said we can't make it just women because you won't get it in the rural areas like that, America. So make a story where you can extend your education, उसमें न्याय, औरतों की तालीम, न्याय, औरतों की और हकूक़ की बात करनी. So he didn't do a very bad job. It took 3 months or so. He did South Punjab and Sindh. And Farooq Kaisar, who's your Hega, was the biggest disappointment on earth. And I'm sorry, I'm very blunt about things, but wo to mera paise bilkul zaya hue. He did not even mention the ministry had started this or sponsored it anywhere. Like Usman and all put, their little thing sponsored by and all and whatever for Beijing. Usne kuch nahi kaha. He didn't know that I was also monitoring personally. So I used to ring up the commissioners to find out what is happening. And I was aghast because उसने उसने अपनी NGO को आगे करा, उसने ना women का बीच में concept लाया, ना कोई photographs लाया, ना कोई videos लाया, like Usman की ज़्यादा तो वो तो he did a shoddy job. It took 16 lakhs for nothing. So I was and I was going to withhold it, but he started giving me this tanas. I'll tell the PM, I said, आप 100 दफा जाएं PM के पास, so. Then the ministry, typical bureaucratic, नहीं आप करते हैं फिर ऐसे बनेगा whatever. पता नहीं क्या मिल रहा होगा क्या नहीं वहाँ तो नहीं मिल रहा था 16 lakhs is nothing मुझे करोड़ों में लोग बात करते तो anyway so when we went to Beijing, like I said, Shugufta मेरा काम half कर दिया, 70% half कर दिया in fact. I must tell you that delegations may you all have to understand one thing, because we always see things from the outside. Delegation में ये हुआ था कि तब आप एक conference पर जाते हैं ना, कोई भी हो, आपको इतना pressure आता है. And I'm sorry to say, हम लोग जो criticize भी करते हैं कि क्यों लंबी delegations हैं, even they want to be included. Now my problem was that कि मुझे I think 80 years या 85 years old से लेके 16-year-olds were putting pressure. Through my mother, through my aunt, even though my aunt was head of the Afwa delegation, I never took her in mind, which she got offended. But I said, look, I don't want to. अच्छा अब आपको पता है रिश्तेदारी, friendships, कोई COS की ex-wife, कोई this thing, I mean you name it, and they were all. So I tried to make people understand that देखें, we have a limit. एक तो donor भी कितना दे सकता है, and then on top of that, I took no M&A, and because they were very few anyway, and I must say the two chief ministers' wives were very helpful. उनको तो I had to get on board, but otherwise I had mostly civil society and people who had helped me draft and who could do technical work, because like I said, I was not a technical person. Expertise तो मेरी बाहर से आनी थी, like बंदी से या हिंदा से या हिना से, नजमा से, Farida, Kosar, Howard, all of them are sitting here. So I said, those people, okay, they all didn't go with me, but the others did. Shitata Noshin was there, she helped us a lot. In the end, so she solved our major problem of the thing, equity and equality document for on inheritance. I must say she solved that. So like I said, if you're going with like-minded people, if you don't have an ego problem, if you don't feel insecure, कि आपकी कोई कुर्सी ले जाएगा, just put more in the limelight, you know, or whatever, things can work out very well. Beijing May, like I said, we try to do a lot of work. In fact, I think if I ever go again in any capacity, I'm not going to make them work so hard. But we worked very hard, and I think we did achieve something in the document. Usse pehle, I got the government to sign in the cabinet CEDAW, which was another long story. Anyway, because you have a lot of these suited, booted bureaucrats who are, their thinking is very different from their suits, let me tell you that. So, I mean, seriously, I had a major problem with some of them, and even the Foreign Office, to be very, because they said that even those officers were very progressive, but they said, आप लोग commitments कर देते हैं, which I suppose they have a point, और फिर हमें खाने पड़ती है अधिकार different forums because you all don't follow up. The government makes it, you know, we commit to different documents and then we don't follow. Look, the government's fault. Jani, they don't, you know, but that is depending on the ministry concerned or the government concerned. We have to fight that. You see, I don't think anybody understands the Ministry of Women Development ka role. It is not making projects. That is very secondary. Some money is important because you need to put a paise se clout bhi aa jata hai. But on the whole, you are supposed to lobby and do advocacy and, you know, make policies and sit in the cabinet and, you know, as a representative of the ministry. Here, I will tell you, when we came back, and we did make commitments there, and we tried to follow it up, again with the blessings of all of them, that we have to realize one thing, that, what was I saying now, my train of thought is gone. National. So when let me see what the outcome, थोड़े से मैं ऐसे जो points लिखने सुबह बैठ के, because I told them, I don't know why you're calling me, I had forgotten, I'm sure I've forgotten or not. एक तो national report came out before I went, sorry, this was very important, which was a major contribution of the civil society, of the government also. We tried to, I think it was, I don't know if you've had such a consensus document afterwards. Have you? No, achha. Well, it was really a very consensus document. Okay. And it got me into a little trouble also. Because someone in the human rights had written that the army had raped women in Bengal and all, and I said, listen, this I discovered there because I was reading it, because it was a last minute effort to work, because like I said, there was hardly any time to do everything. And, you know, and the COS rang up the Prime Minister, and she's this thing, and she's Badnam. Anyway, whatever, I took all that. So, so what I mean is that the national report came out, and I must say we had 1,000 copies, went like this. Because I feel after going to these forums that even the Indians are not, even though bada strong NGOs hain, but they didn't come out as clear and fair in their assessment of their women as we did in that document. I feel that, you know. And the officers were upset that we didn't get to Japan gaye after I left. So I said, but that you can't. You see, it's so global, like she said. And the communication technology is so advanced that you can't hide things. And छुपाने नहीं चाहिए, उसको गंद को लाएं और उसको साफ करें. That is what basic policy should be, you know, that you should do it. And I think the national report के बाद जब हम आए, तो फिर national plan of action भी हो गया. CEDAW का हमने accede किया March में, 11th March I think it was, I don't remember, I think it was 11th March. And we acceded to CEDAW in March, and I think Legal Affairs Office में April में गई थी, first week of April में or whatever. And then of course we were supposed to start working on it, and the government went. You see, like I said, एक चीज आप शुरू करें तो वो टाइम नहीं मिलता है to finish it or whatever. अच्छा, now another thing which we started were the Beijing follow-up units, because we felt implementation नहीं हो सकती without some kind of machinery on the. I think a lot of us are understanding what we're saying. So we made in the provinces Beijing follow-up units in the women development departments, which were very weak at that time. Huh? But we made them, we were choosing people. Like I said, it was still in that process. प्रोसेस में था. फिर as usual फिर बाद में सुना वो सारे खत्म हो गए. I don't know what happened to them. फिर we had also started the ministry. We had started putting focal points for gender development, gender focal points, women की, in the federal ministries. Every ministry to see how much budget was going to be spent. Women, because I noticed in education and health and all, like girl guides got 2 lakhs there in girl guides ko, and 18 or 20 lakhs there in Boy Scouts ko, which I thought was very unfair. I don't know what's again happening to that, because I was very much in this girl guide system and in schools and all, because it's really vanishing. It's now in the lower schools, government schools, tute-pute systems and whatever. So, I mean, like I said, everything was just machine, कहते हैं ना, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता, क्योंकि थोड़े से officers भी on board आ गए थे, you know, and because I noticed they had become very politicized, some of them, you know, and of course, सिफारिशों का bombard for promotions. And so if you are basically, if you've made up your mind that you are not going to take any nonsense, and you've made up your mind there will be no political interference, even though I was from a political party, I did get a lot of flack, but I explained to them that everybody has different strengths in different areas. जैसे मैं गलियों में जाके रोज नहीं काम कर सकती, that is your strength, and this is our strength, and I need technical hands or whatever, and I must give credit to Bibi here. And she was very cooperative. Once because she had a lot of pressure on her, they were putting someone in my ministry. They wanted to, but she said, you must consult her. And I said, the day she comes, I'm going home. And of course, after that, I never got any problems whatsoever. So that, and I just wanted to say, Acha, now I know this is a very touchy question. I don't know if it's touchy or not, but someone who speaks their mind, I want to speak about this. Now, when we were there was a lot of emphasis on his art ministry jo thi, and is the focal point for women in the federal government. In the provincial governments now, hopefully like I said, it depends also on the person and on the kind of people you have with you. And because if you are there, I know you do make a difference. People who say they don't, that's a lie. You can make a difference when you are in a position of strength or position of power or whatever. But you have to be understanding also, because like I said, it's not like an NGO. There are some kinds of holdbacks or handicaps. Either you have to convince or lobby, and you know, like if you're working with other parties, वहाँ handicaps आते हैं. जैसे reserved seats for women lapse हो गया था. When we tried to work with, तब तो आपको पता है नवाज शरीफ को इंसारों में क्या था. I asked Taira Mazhar Ali, who we are missing today, and who's very sick also, and who helped us a lot. She was head of the National Consultation Committee. We had made her. And I had told her to talk to Nawaz Sharif, and she had delegated to his wife, and then they delegated Sarkar Aziz, and I talked to him. And they said, "नहीं आपको एक और seat मिल जाएगी." So that was really the basic problem with numbers. अब तो thank God it's much better. And then we had that Fazlu with us. I mean, you don't know what we went through. We went through a gentleman, I think he's retired recently, he was then doing planning and development, who argued with us when we said that 2-3 बच्चे होने चाहिए. Look, I say 3. कहाँ 10 होते हैं तो वो 1 तो नहीं करेंगे. So let's not be China. So whatever it is, he said, what is all this population control? I mean, look at Michael Jackson. This is your secretary saying that. Look at Michael Jackson. He was the 6th or 7th child. If he was family planning, there would be no Michael Jackson. You won't believe what I will. Then they would say, कि ये बड़ी Prime Minister आपने बहुत modern औरत रख दी है. बड़ी modern औरत. Those things they came. I learned a lot. Like I said, I learned a lot. But the thing is that if you have a core group with you inside and you work as a team, because nobody is superhuman. Believe me, nobody is. And I don't think I could have done without the NGO sector, at least the core which I know, because there are some very nasty ones. I'm sorry to say. Acha, they are good and bad in every community. We have to realize that अच्छे बुरे politicians हैं, अच्छे बुरे bureaucrats हैं. Acha, now I want to come to a thing that, you see, like I'm going off the track because it's been so long and I've really been nursing more than anything else, so I know more about technicians and doctors right now. But एक चीज है we have to keep in mind about the ministry. And this, I think, was an offshoot also of the Beijing conference, because I know Kathmandu got a Women Development Ministry after Beijing and some of the others. But you know, experience teaches you that you cannot have parallel institutions. At that stage, I remember I said Commission on the Status of Women. I know a lot of people will disagree. We can disagree, wo to koi baat nahi hai. But I'm just giving my point of view from my own experience. बात ये है कि जो ministry है ना, it is considered your legal focal point. Nationally, internationally, globally, whatever you call it. It's your representative from the government side. And if it is, like I said, getting along with the civil society, it is also a voice for the civil society. Now the commission, I thought at that stage, tab Ziaul Haq tha aur tab hamari bhi tab government thi, so there weren't many women. As general seats पर तो उतनी नहीं थी ना, there were just 3 of them, and they were, I think Shanaz Javed thi, Begum Bhutto and Beres. And then there were reserved seats for कोई 10 थी या ऐसे थी, whatever, 10, 12, 13, 14, जो भी, but it wasn't a large sum. ठीक है ना? So then it was, okay, you had to have a commission. But what kind of a commission? Now the problem is, we've been studying this question. Now you must realize that the commission is not representing you in parliament. The ministry has to represent you. That's your voice in parliament. They are going to be questioned what you're doing. In the parliamentary committees, you are the one who has to answer. In the public accounts committee, you are the one who has to answer. They have to, they have to take all the file. Senate may, they are going to represent you. Nationally, if you go there, or the PM sends someone, mostly it's from the ministry, to voice her opinions. So you are a route through that. And also you are the focal point in the cabinet, which is very important. Because cabinets are getting so bloated, and you have to have your voice there. So that is very important. So ministry को आप weaken नहीं कर सकते. Financially, politically, whatever way, you can't weaken it. It's your focal point, and it has to stay. I'll tell you why. Because remember we've had these different meetings. In a lot of the countries which the commission have, where there is a commission, there are no ministries. आप देखें South Africa में, they have a gender equality commission, and that is part of their constitution. But they have no Ministry of Women Development. They have a little bureau somewhere down of ladkiyan mujhe kahin thi, and nobody listens to us. Because the focal point has to be up there, for you to be heard, or whatever. Then you have the Philippines. Wahan bhi main gayi thi. They have, the Filipinos have this commission, Filipino Women or something commission, in the President's Secretariat. They want to be, you have to be nearest to the power that matters. And they said we had to be close, and that's how they get their work. They don't have a ministry. Okay? And there are 2, 3 other places. India has, no doubt, but I remember when Vibha was there, when I was there was a lady, Vibha there, head of the commission, and she said, if you ever form one, please talk to us before, because there is a clash between the department there and the commission there. And the commission there has quasi-judicial powers, where they can go and, take up a case or whatever. Now the point is, you're not going to get it from this or from any government here, quasi-judicial powers, because वहाँ वो चीखेंगे judiciary का ये, उसका वार, ये वो वगैरह. I mean, I can't foresee it, but maybe, I don't know. But you see, it's not that you're trying to blow away a system or something. This commission here also came about in a very bureaucratic manner. Our deputy secretary in the commission, he just wrote a thing, and it went to the whatever. They wanted to show they had made the commission before another, they were going to a UN forum or something, and they made it. So now I feel with so many women in the local bodies elections. हम इतना जो कहते रहते हैं 40,000 आ गए, 50,000 औरतें आ गई. Then in the legislature, then you have the women caucus. Then there's something else. I was reading the other day. I think you have to now look at the Senate mein hai, so you have to look towards them to do your monitoring and to help you get your policies and your agendas done. This is my personal view. I don't know what you do. Because look, monetarily, we can't afford a parallel thing. Paise nahi hai, now you go into making provincial units, then you make into this, then you want to upsize that. There is going to be trouble between the two. I can tell you from now. I have worked in it. वो कहेंगे आप इनको क्यों भेज रहे हैं बाहर donors? हमें because commission is not supposed to take any donor money. But I noticed one thing. Since the commission, the donors are going there more and giving nothing to the ministry, which is wrong because you see your officers have to be gender sensitized. Your officers need money, your ministry needs money, और आजकल तो funding आ ही नहीं है ज़्यादा. You know, it's quite pathetic. That's why we're sitting in Ambassador Hotel. I mean, let's face it, sorry to say that. But this is not like what we had before. So, I mean, so basically what I feel is, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope कुछ तो मैंने आप लोगों को दिया because this is, you know, my rusty mind जंग लग गया brain में क्योंकि 10 साल से तो I have not been on the scene. तो मैं तो काफी डरी हुई थी, मैं पता नहीं क्या कहूँगी. But like I said, I'm really thank you very much for being so patient and listening to me, and best of luck. And to be very honest with you, the PM did call me, and after avoiding it like the plague, because after Crises event, I just don't feel like going there. But she was very insistent, so out of courtesy, I did go to talk to him in March. But I just told him I can't do it yet, because I have too many problems at home, and somehow the incentive of going to the... Because it's not fair to take a ODA if you cannot give your best to it. I think you should see it as a sense of responsibility and not as just an ODA, which there are plenty of people doing. And I've told women, isko liya, usko liya. Some of us, unfortunately, want just very high-profile jobs, and we don't want, we want to be jack of all trades and a master of none. And that is unfair. And I also want, now that I'm sitting in front of you, I was telling some of you that I think the NGOs need an accountability platform very badly, because that's why the government keeps putting their own ideas into yours. Even then I had told them, out of your own consensus, आप लोग अपने आप को एक bodies elect करें, provincial जो accountability process हो, because I've had a very bad personal experience, and I think 2-3 others have. I try to stay in the process, but there are people there who don't want people who are very blunt, who want accountability of money, of this and that. And I think that's unfair, because then they make people sit there who you don't know from Adam, who you've never seen, and they start attacking you. And you don't go there to get basically done. You go there to learn and to give to each other. So I think that is something I leave you to think about with, and thank you very much.